Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another Viva-Mundo webinar. Today we are hosting a webinar for Radboud University. We have the lovely Anne with us and two lovely students from the university as well who will give their insights into the university and more. Let me just give you a quick run through of the Zoom app. If you could possibly put your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom. Please answer these at any time of the webinar and we will get to them at the end of the webinar and be sure to answer as many as we can. I just want to give you a little background into the Viva-Mundo experience and team. So Viva-Mundo.com essentially exists to help students with the information and details required for studying abroad. Destinations, degrees, visa applications, you name it, we have it. We have everything to set you on the way to the next chapter in your life. So without further ado, I will pass this over to Anne and I hope you enjoy watching. Take it away.
Hello, welcome to this webinar about Radboud University. Today we will tell you more about the Netherlands, studying in Nijmegen, studying at Radboud University, of course. About some practicalities such as admission requirements, housing, deadlines, and of course about student life. It's quite a full program, but who are we? Okay. Yeah. So my name is Anne Opmeer. I work for the Faculty of Arts as an International Marketing and Communications Officer. A couple of years ago, I studied here myself. I studied the Bachelor's in International Business Communication, and I did a Master's in Dutch-German Relations, and now I'm here. And today I'm together with two current students, and I will let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm currently doing a Master in Political Science. My specialization is International Relations.
Hi, I'm Taina. I'm an Environment and Society Studies pre-master student, and I'm from Brazil.
Thank you. So we'll start with the Netherlands. Yeah, quite a typical image of some tulips and a windmill, which is called molen in Dutch. And I will tell you some more about the Netherlands first. So this is where we are. We are a really small country, and we are one of the most densely populated countries in the world. We have 17 million people living in an area of 41,000 square meters. So you can imagine that's pretty tight. Basically, the Netherlands is a really flat country and we have a lot of water. So we are below sea level and we have a lot of rivers, canals. There's basically water everywhere. Our climate is, we have a sea climate, which means that we have relatively cool summers and mild winters. But if you are from Mexico or Brazil or Vietnam, I think, yeah, you will perceive our winters as pretty cold. Our capital city is, of course, Amsterdam, and the language we speak here is Dutch. So this is a bit of an impression of the Netherlands. Yeah, I'm just going to give you some fun facts. We are a land of tradition, as you can see. It comes back in the tulips, in the wooden shoes, in bikes. And we have changeable weather. So in one day it can rain, it can snow, it can storm and be sunny. It's really crazy here. The Netherlands is old versus new. We do have a lot of innovation and architecture. You can see that, for example, in the city of Rotterdam, but we also do have a lot of old traditional architecture, which you will be able to see here in Nijmegen and of course also in Amsterdam. The Netherlands is home to around 200 nationalities, and it's the world's 5th largest export nation and the 17th world economy. People say that we are innovative with finding solutions. An example is that we always find a way to deal with all the water we have here in the Netherlands. And we are we are always trying to find the best way to cope with it. We were actually one of the EU founding nations, and the International Court of Justice is seated here in The Hague. You might probably heard of it. So Jenna, how do you like living in the Netherlands?
A lot. I particularly like Dutch people because they are very straightforward. So for example, in my culture, we kind of have to read between the lines and have to guess a little bit, and with a lot of customs involved. But here people are kind of liberal and they're very straightforward. So whatever they say, they mean that.
Yeah, that's actually true. I hear that a lot from international students. So I'm just going to tell you another thing about the Netherlands, and that's that we have two types of universities here, which can be confusing if you are an international student. So we have research universities and we have universities of applied sciences. The research universities are focused more on academic research, and the bachelor's takes 3 years. You do a lot of research during your program, and yeah, you are taught to undertake research independently. After the bachelor's degree at a research university, you have direct admission to a master's degree, and it's possible to do a PhD. A University of Applied Science is a bit more practical. So the profession you will do later on is usually more clear. So for example, if you want to become a teacher, you usually go to a University of Applied Science. Most bachelors here take 4 years, and you can't be admitted to a master's at a research university directly. Then you would need to take a pre-master's, but I will come to that later. So now I'm going to tell you something about the city of Nijmegen. Here you see a really nice image of how our city center looks like, at least part of it. Nijmegen is one of the oldest cities in the Netherlands, and you can, when you walk through the city, you can still see that because there are still some Roman ruins to be found. It's a medium-sized city with about 170,000 inhabitants, and it's really a student city. So 35% of our inhabitants are students. This means that it's a really lively city. There's always something going on. And there's always something organized for students. And besides that, it's a really safe city. If you happen to go out partying some night, then it's perfectly safe to travel home by bike afterwards. So Taina, what do you think of Nijmegen?
Actually, I don't really know the city since I'm not living here. But the part I know, I really like it. The way the city is, like the people in here, I really like it here.
Yeah, it's a really friendly city, I would say. People are always helpful, I think. So where in the Netherlands are we? We are located at the southeast of the Netherlands, close to the German border. It's quite a convenient location to travel to other parts of Europe, as we also have a lot of airports close by. Also, Amsterdam is only 1.5 hours away by train, and the transportation network is really good. So there are a lot of opportunities to travel around and to travel within Europe. So how is living in Nijmegen like? We do have accommodation service for everyone with a travel distance of over 350 kilometers to Nijmegen. This is something that is arranged for the first year of your studies. We can't guarantee it, but up till now, we have always been able to help all international students looking for a room here in Nijmegen. And yeah, most students are hosted at student complexes that are run by the SSHN. Sometimes we also have contracts with private loaners, but most students live in SSHN complexes. Usually you have your own room and you share other facilities such as the kitchen, the bathroom, and the toilets. And the rental prices vary between 370 euros a month and 440 euros a month. Actually, we have some students that wrote a blog about housing here in Nijmegen and everything that comes with it. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend you to click on the link later on and read some blogs. Jenna, you have lived in an SSHN complex for the first year here, and now you have found something on your own. So how does it work?
Well, so back then when I was living in SSHN, so they have a lot of different housing complexes, and the one I lived in was the furthest one from the school, the third one, requiring me to cycle about 20 minutes every day to the school and then another 20 minutes back. But, you know, despite that disadvantage, we actually had the private bathroom compared to other housing complex, which is very nice, I think. So, yeah.
And was it easy to find something on yourself?
I always advise people that networking is very important.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of expand your network and know this people and that people, and then ask around, and then you can find housing. Not that hard, I would say. For me, it was very easy. So.
Yeah, I think for the first year of your studies, if you don't know anyone here, I think it's pretty good to go with the option of the SSHN or to get help from the university. And then after the first year, we indeed hope that you know some people, maybe have some Dutch friends, and then it will be easier to find something on your own. But it is hard. There's a high demand for student housing. So for the first year, we really recommend you to go through the university. When you have to apply before the deadline to receive help with finding student housing. I will come back to deadlines in this presentation later. But then you can, after that, you will receive an email from the international office where you can fill out some preferences, and they will make you suitable or multiple suitable offers in around June, I think. So, how do you find your way in and around the Netherlands and Nijmegen? I'm Dutch, and we basically go everywhere by bike. So I would highly advise you to get a second-hand bike upon your first arrival here. If you take part in the orientation week, which is a week like an introduction week you do before you start your studies here, there is this a part that that will allow you to buy a second-hand bike. And this costs around 50 euros. Some bikes are a bit more expensive, some are a bit more cheap, but it should cost around 50 euros. Here in Nijmegen, we have a really good bus network as well. In the whole Netherlands, we have a really good bus network. Transportation in general is pretty good. We have train connections within the Netherlands and abroad, of course. So from Amsterdam or Rotterdam, you can take trains to Paris, to Berlin, like everywhere. A tip would be to take a student discount subscription. That is something you can arrange here, and there will be some more information provided when you get here in Nijmegen. And there's also pretty much easy access to airports like Eindhoven, Weesp, and Maastricht. The ones you already saw on the map I showed earlier. They are very convenient for cheap travel around Europe. So, Taina, do you travel? You travel a lot by train because you live in Amsterdam?
Yeah. So I take this 1.5 hour train to Nijmegen from Amsterdam almost every day. And it's really nice to be in the train. I can work, I can just see what's going on outside. I don't even see this time going by. When I say I'm here or I'm there.
Do you also travel by bike in Amsterdam?
Yeah, I have a bike in there. So everything I need to do when I'm in Amsterdam, I do by bike. I go to the market, I go shopping, I go everywhere I need to go, I use the bike.
Yeah, I would say you really need it here. So get a bike. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you something about Radboud University. This is just an overview where we are ranking wise. We are, like, the Netherlands is one of the highest ranked countries in the world after the UK and the US. And all our 13 Dutch research universities belong to the top 200 of Times Higher Education. And besides that, we are also the best traditional research university here in the Netherlands. Traditional research university means that we offer all scientific areas, all scientific classes areas. So we have science, we have business, we have philosophy, arts, medicine, law. We basically have everything, and we are ranked best in the Netherlands for that. So at our university, we have at the moment 22,142 students. 11% of them is international, and around 8,000 students are currently in a master's. In total, we have a bit less than 5,000 staff members, of which 25% is international. So yeah, as you can see, we are pretty international here. We are internationally oriented. And you won't find only Dutch people here. So I think that's nice to show and to mention. If you're interested in doing research as well, we do have 17 research institutes on campus. And you might know some of them. We, for example, have the Donners Institute for Brain Cognition and Behavior. And this is actually the world's most renowned brain institute, and they do research on behavior and information processing in the brain. We have the High Field Magnet Laboratory, which features the strongest magnet in the world, and they do material research on high magnetic fields. So if you're into science, that's I think a really interesting thing to know. And also we have on campus the Max Planck Institute for Psycholinguistics. It's an independent institute, but still on campus because they work together with students a lot. They do research on language and language processing. So just to give you an overview, these are our English taught bachelor's programs. As you can see here again, we offer almost all research areas except for architecture and engineering. If you're interested in one of those programs, I would recommend you to look into a technical research university, such as the Technical University in Delft or Eindhoven. Within our bachelor's, we have 3 numerus fixus programs. I think this is important to mention. Numerus fixus means that we have a certain amount of places available for that program, and that you have to really apply for that with writing a motivation letter and taking an online test. If you're interested in biology, psychology, or artificial intelligence, you should know that this is a program that is numerus fixus. And also the deadline for applying for these programs is a bit earlier. I will show you later what the deadlines are. So what are the admission requirements for the bachelor's programs? First of all, I should say that we assess every application on an individual basis. But in general, we look at your senior high school diploma, and we usually ask for one year of academic education as well. If you do an IB program, we ask for a minimum of 24 points. But for example, the Faculty of Science asks for a higher minimum of points. Yeah, so it's really important to check the program pages and see what the specific requirements are for your program. We also offer a eligibility check for bachelor students. There you can fill in some information, and then we will give you a non-binding advice on whether you're admissible or not. Also important is that you need to prove your language proficiency, because all our programs are English taught, and we need to know if you have sufficient language knowledge. Also, these language proficiency levels, yeah, they differ per program. But in general, we ask an IELTS or a TOEFL with a minimum score of 6 or a minimum score of 80. And this Cambridge CIE and CPE certificates are also accepted. The deadline to submit those, you can already apply without them, but the deadline to submit them is the 1st of June. So this means that it's not mandatory during your application. Then the master's programs. This is a little bit more complex, as we have 35 English taught master's programs. And all these programs might have different specializations. For example, as Jenna already mentioned, she is doing the Master's in Political Science, but she is doing a specialization within that program that is called International Relations. So can you explain a little bit how that works?
Oh, okay. So we have several programs in the political science, namely political theory, international relations, comparative politics, gender diversity, something like that, and the conflict power course as well. We share some classes together, but not all together. We will have very small classroom dedicated for each track that we have to participate in. And it's a bit different from bachelor course that you attend a big lecture hall. Here you have small seminar and you're required to speak more and be more critical towards the readings that you have to read for the day.
Yeah. And also what is, I think, unique about choosing a specialization is that you choose it right from the beginning on. So from the first moment, you will have specific courses within your specialization.
You have to do that right when you apply for master year on study link.
Study links, yeah.
You have to indicate your preferred study track at that moment.
I will explain more about study link in a couple of slides. So the admission requirements is that you need a bachelor's degree that is equivalent of a Dutch bachelor's degree obtained at a research university. And it should be in the same area as the intended master's program. Here we also ask for a minimum score in the language proficiency. And here again, you can take IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge, CIE or CPE. And again, the deadline to submit is the 1st of June. So here for masters again, it is not necessary to apply already with the certificate. It's possible to do it afterwards. When you apply, we usually also ask for a motivation letter. And for some programs, we ask a GPA or a GMAT. In case of the GPA, a pass is usually sufficient, but this may be different per research masters. A research masters is a program that is a little bit more focused onto research and doing a PhD afterwards. The pass for the GPA is not that our programs are easy, but it's based on a Dutch philosophy that everyone that meets the requirement should be able to be accepted into the program. After you get in, I think the programs are quite some work. And then for the GMAT, this is not needed to apply, but only the Masters in Business Administration may set it as an enrollment requirement. And we ask for a score of 610 for masters, and for the pre-masters we ask 600. If you have done it, we ask you to submit it upon application. So how was it for you to apply here? Did you write a motivation letter, or how did it work?
Yeah, I had a motivation letter and also all the required documents like the diploma from the university, the transcripts. Yeah, it was really like easy since we have this Osiris or Study Link where you just upload your documents. It's really easy. There's no, it's not complicated at all.
Okay. And what would you say about the indication of difficulty? Do you agree when I say that after you get in, it's quite some work?
Like when we are studying, yeah, it is. It actually for me it's really different from what I had in Brazil. So it's quite really work to pass the courses and stuff. But yeah, it's doable. It's hard, but it's doable. It's not impossible.
Okay. And for you?
Yeah, it's quite intense. But yeah, I like it. I enjoy it. I learn a lot here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm learning more in 4 months than I had in 2 years at the university in my bachelor or something like that.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. It's really
so yeah,
intense.
It's we try to be equal for everyone who wants to get in, but once you're here, then be prepared to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
So now we're getting to the application procedure. We've already mentioned StudyLink. This is the Dutch national entry system where you can submit your application. So here you indicate which program you want to study. Then StudyLink will send a notification to the university. They will give you access to Osiris. This is our university application portal. For masters, we usually ask for a handling fee of 75 euros or 150 euros. Did you pay that?
Yeah.
Which one did you pay?
I think I paid 75.
Yeah, I think we mostly ask for a handling fee of 75. And after that, yeah, your application will be assessed. In some cases, there will be an online interview taking part. This is usually the case for research masters. And then it takes approximately 3 weeks before you receive your official admission decision. And in terms of when you haven't submitted your English language proficiency level yet, the university will usually give you a conditional offer. This means that if you meet up the other requirements, the university will say, okay, you've been admitted to the program on the basis that you receive a sufficient level in your IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge test. As I already mentioned, we do have some programs where we have a limited number of places. And this is for the BAs in Artificial Intelligence, Biology and Psychology, and for the Masters in Molecular Mechanisms of Disease. And for the other programs, we don't have a limited number of places. You can, it's open for everyone. Usually you start your Masters in September, but we do have some programs that also have a February intake. And this is for the programs that are on the slide. So for creative industries, cognitive neuroscience, international and European law, pedagogical sciences, philosophy, philosophy and science, and theology. And this goes both for the 1 and the 3-year program we offer. So I already mentioned deadlines a couple of times. So for non-EU and EEA students, if you want to apply for a scholarship, I will explain more about scholarship in a few minutes. But then you would have to apply before the 1st of March if you want to start in September. If you're not applying for a scholarship, you should apply before the 1st of April. If you want to apply for the February intake, you can apply before the 1st of November. As I already mentioned, the numerous fixes programs have a different application deadline. If you want to study one of those programs, you should apply before the 15th of January. There's also another exception. This is the Masters in Molecular Mechanisms of Disease. There you should apply before the 1st of March. And here we also say that the earlier the better, because last year we refused people because the program was full already. So if you want to be sure of a seat there, yeah, it's best to apply as early as you can. I also already mentioned pre-masters programs. This is actually a program that we offer in case your pre-education was not equivalent to the Dutch bachelor's degree, or if your curriculum at home lacked in certain subjects. So it's actually, the pre-masters is a year where you follow some courses out of the English Law Bachelors, and these courses will get you up to speed for the masters. You can still get your master's in 2 years, and there's a really high chance to keep up during the masters because you've already, you're already used to the way of studying here in the Netherlands. Also for the pre-masters, you pay the lower tuition fees. It's only 2,143 euros a year. We offer pre-masters for Nijmegen School of Management and for some programs at the Faculty of Arts and the Faculty of Science. And I think you have taken a pre-masters. So how did you experience it?
Oh, the reason why I had to do the pre-master because the research, because of the university here, we are the traditional university, right? And my my master degree is gonna be Master of Science. So the requirement for research method is much higher compared to other universities. That's why I had to do the pre-master program. And in the pre-master program, we had to take part in a lot of classes together with bachelor students over here. And yeah, it got us very ready for the master program. Actually, we think that we had a better start compared to other master students because of the pre-master. They kind of prepared us for all the difficulties upcoming during the master year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's also why we do it. And the admission board will decide whether you are directly admissible into the masters or whether you need a pre-masters program. So you don't need to apply for the pre-masters. You just apply for the masters you want to take. And if the admission board thinks that your pre-education is not sufficient, they might send you an offer to take part in one of the pre-masters programs. So I hope this is a bit more clear now. So now I'm going to tell you something about our teaching and study methods, because I hear from students a lot that it's really different from what they are used to at home. Usually here in the Netherlands, you have 2 hours of like a bigger lecture and then 4 hours of working groups or seminars per course. The teaching is very interactive. We highly value your opinion, and we really want you to develop yourself in terms of soft skills. So within the seminars and the smaller classes, the working groups, we really ask you to take active part, give feedback, engage in discussions, and give presentations. So it's also really hands-on. There you also, for example, work together with your peer students on cases, on articles. So yeah, that's a bit how it's like in the Netherlands. I should mention that every program has its own study advisor. So if you are facing any issues during your studies, you can always make an appointment with him or her, and he or she will be able to guide you and to help you get back on your feet. And for every program or for every course, you will do an exam or a paper, and for each paper exam thing you have to do, you can do a resit. So Faina, can you maybe explain a bit more? How do you perceive classes here at Nijmegen?
Yeah, they are really, there's a lot of theory behind everything they're teaching us. So they are always require that we understand these theories and why we are learning, what we are learning. It's really intense. We have lots of reading before the classes and after as well. We have a lot of working groups. I think almost every course I took so far, we had working groups, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So do you also have to give a lot of presentations?
Yes, for some of the courses required presentations as well, and some papers, but I think most of them had working groups.
Yeah, working groups are really common.
Yeah.
We really value that also, because that's a place where you can you can ask your teacher. And well, here at Radboud there's not really a hierarchy, so you can even, the professors there know you by name probably.
Yeah.
And you can even disagree with them. So that's really something a lot of students have to get used to, because it's not common to do that. But yeah, here it's, as I would say, highly valued if you actively engage in discussions.
Yeah, we also have like weekly assignments in almost every course, so it helps you to keep studying. You don't need to wait until the exam, so it's helpful.
Yeah. Important part, I think, the tuition fees for EU, EEA students. It's every year it's the same. It's set by the government. It's 2,143 euros. If you are non-EU or EEA and you're taking a bachelor's, you should expect to pay 8,337 euros a year. For the pre-masters, this fee is lower, and then for the masters, we ask 11,471 euros a year. This also varies per program a little bit. So for example, if you're taking a 2-year master's program, the fee will be a bit over 9,000 euros a year. But you can find those on the website as well of your specific program. If you want to study a science or medical sciences program here at Radboud, you should expect to pay a bit more. For bachelors, it's a bit over 11,000 euros. And for masters, it's around 12,645 euros. Oh, sorry. And what about costs of living per month? For rent, I already mentioned it, it should be around 400 euros. And then for groceries, we say approximately 100 to 125 euros. It of course depends on which grocery shop you go. I would highly recommend you to go to the market. This takes place every week, and here you can get vegetables and other stuff cheaper than you get in a grocery store. For a phone bill, you would expect to pay 25 euros a month. Transportation in between 25 and 50, depending how much you travel, of course. I think if you travel from Nijmegen to Amsterdam, this amount will be a bit higher.
Yeah, but I use that, you mentioned that before.
Yeah, the discount.
Yeah, I have this, so it's not too much.
Yeah, if you have the discount, the transportation is quite affordable.
Yeah, I pay 100 a month, so I can travel for free wherever I want.
Yeah. So, but then you need to expect to pay a little bit more. Also, if you're going to travel a lot throughout Europe, then this will also be a bit higher. And then you need health insurance, and for that, you would need around 40 euros. In total, this would make 600 to 650 euros a month, and this is excluding tuition fees. So, as you can see, it really depends on how you decide to spend your money, but I think in general, do you recognize it? Or would you say something is cheaper or more expensive?
I'd say my rent is more expensive than 400 euros. And then because I usually go out with friends for movies and then for coffees and drinks and cakes and a lot. So it's a bit more expensive for me, probably around 700, I might say.
Okay. So yeah, if you take into account that you also go out and do fun activities, which you should, because I mean, you're only a student once, then it might be a bit higher. But yeah, as I already said, this is really dependent on how you decide to spend your money, of course. Then scholarships. We only have scholarships for master students. We have a Radboud scholarship program. We are giving out around 30 scholarships for that per year. It's for all non-EEA students, and it's for 2-year programs and international European law. So mostly the research masters and of course international European law, you can apply for this scholarship. It works as a tuition fee waiver. So instead of paying the tuition fees I just showed you, you just pay the EU tuition fee. Then we have the Holland Scholarship. This is for Colombian students, and we give out 3 a year. You can apply for this for all programs, and you get 5,000 euros. So it works a bit different from the Radboud Scholarship Program. This is just an amount you get. You can apply for both scholarships in Osiris during your program application. Then we have the Orange Tulip Scholarship. We have 10 for Vietnamese, Mexican, and Brazilian students. Here again, you can apply for the Orange Tulip scholarship for all programs. And it works the same as the Radboud scholarship program. It decreases the tuition fee to the legal tuition fee European students pay here. You can apply via your NISO office, and you can do that around the same time as the program application. For all three scholarships, we advise you to apply for more than one. However, you can only receive one, but if you apply for more, then your chances of getting one are higher. Your GPA is needed, and also reference letters are needed. And I also want to say that some faculties offer specific faculty scholarships. So I would recommend you to look into our scholarship overview page, as there you will also find some helpful links to other websites that might help you further. Do you receive scholarship?
No.
Okay. What is it like to work here? If you're a non-EU student, you need a working permit. This is required, and your employer has to apply for it. And after that, you can work for a maximum of 16 hours a week, or you can work full-time during the summer months, so in June, July, and August. Currently, we do have an on-campus recruitment agency, which is called Campus Data Sharing. They sometimes offer jobs to international students as well. And also here at the university, we do offer jobs for international students. However, I think if you want to work in a city center, in, for example, a restaurant, yeah, a little bit of Dutch would be required, sorry. Also here we have a blog from students that are currently working in a student job. So if you're looking for some personal experience, you can read some stories here. You are working here as an international student, right?
Yep, for the Department of Marketing and Communication.
Yeah, so it is possible.
Yes.
Yeah, but aside from working for the school, I think to find a work in city center might be very difficult.
Yeah.
As I heard from other people experience.
Yeah. Yeah, this is also what I think. It's good to know that recently there is a student initiative that started. 3 students are now matching international students with Dutch employers. So yeah, it's just set up, but I think it will be very important in the future for helping international students find a job. We have several support services. Before departure, we can help you, as I already said, with housing, but also with your visa application. Upon arrival, we have a pickup service at Schiphol. This is done the weekend before the orientation week starts. And we are there with a team of Radboud University, welcoming international students, watching their stuff when they go to the toilet, appointing them into the right train to Nijmegen. So this is just basically a warm welcome. After that, the orientation week starts. This is a week that is organized, and it's a week full of fun activities where you get to know your fellow students, the university, the city center, and it's closed down with a big festival with all Dutch and international students that are starting in the new year. Yeah, so this is something we highly recommend, as it gives you just a nice start into the next academic year. During your program, you can always get help from your student advisors, as I already mentioned. But we also have, for the first year bachelor students, we have mentors, academic mentors that you will see every once a week. And yeah, they will keep track of you, see if you're doing okay. And if not, they will try to help you. We also have, in several faculties, we have a buddy program where you'll be matched with one or more Dutch students or with a group of students. So you already get to know people. We offer free Dutch courses, social Dutch courses at the Radboud into Languages. You can sign up for a course, and there you will learn some basic Dutch, so you can you can ask your way in Dutch to some local people or have a little chat in the supermarket, for example. We also have the Radboud Honors Academy. If you're a highly motivated student, this academy provides you with some extra curricular activities. And we also feature career weeks and in-house days at at companies, multinationals, and other organizations. Upon graduation, we have a career service. They can help you with practicing for a job interview. They can look at your CV. They can help you with those kinds of stuff. They have a big database with internships and job possibilities. So you can take a look there if you're looking for something as well. We have an alumni network where you can keep into touch with your fellow alumni. And we do have a non-EU EEA orientation year. This means that after you've finished your bachelor's program, your pre-master's program, or your master's program, that the Netherlands is giving you 1 extra year to stay in the Netherlands and to sort out what you want to do. You can work here, you can still study here, you can do an internship, and for this year your employer doesn't need to apply for a work permit. So this is an extra year that the Dutch government gives you. So now I see that I already am talking 45 minutes, but I don't see a lot of questions in the question and answer box yet. So I'm just going to continue with the presentation if that's okay with you. We do have some social activities. As I already mentioned, we have the orientation week. This year it takes place from Sunday 16 to Sunday 23 August. Did you take part in the orientation week?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, for me it's a long time ago, so probably.
No, yeah, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we got to use to know the city and also the university. And the important thing of orientation week was to get a bike.
Yeah.
And it was very helpful at the beginning, because all the mentors were giving a lot of advice to how to select the bike that's suitable for us, and also where to get them, which is very important, I think, for international students.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, so that's one of the things specifically organized for international students. Also other things, working your way here in the Netherlands, this is all part of the orientation week. And therefore, we at least recommend you to take part in that. But we also, of course, have other activities throughout the year, such as guest lectures, cultural events. We have this buddy program. Every week there's a meet and eat at the student church. Every week that's another team. So for example, next week it will be Vietnamese night, and then Vietnamese students will cook a Vietnamese meal and you can eat it all together. It's a great way to get to know other people. We have an international office and an international student network here in Nijmegen, and they organize a lot of parties and excursions. Also some abroad trips they organize. So yeah, there's a lot to do here, I would say. What about cooking? I already mentioned that it's pretty good to go to the weekly farmers market. We also have a lot of international supermarkets, so it's easy to find ingredients that maybe your specific kitchen needs. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, of course. I go to the farmers market every 2, 3 or 4 days to get fresh stuff, and it's really good. They have a lot of different vegetables and different stuff. It's good.
Yeah, I saw it. Okay, I saw that we received some questions. We will answer them in a couple of seconds. I think we're almost through to the presentation. So we'll come back in 2 minutes. If you don't feel like cooking, We have a lot of on-campus restaurants, and also the city center features a lot of nice bars and restaurants where you can go to. On campus, we also have the Radboud Sports Center. It was voted best university sports center in the world by students, so that's something we are really proud of. For students, it's really affordable. You pay 130 euros a year, and then you can basically sport unlimited. You can do a lot of sports here. You can do pole dancing, you can do rugby, climbing, dancing, yeah, basically everything you can imagine. It's really good. And of course, besides sports, we do have a lot of other student associations here as well. As I already said, we have the International Student Network. But if you're interested in theater, debating, music, you can find clubs there as well. And also almost every program has its own study association, and they also organize nice activities and events. So I would say it's pretty easy to do something with your hobbies and to get to know people that are also interested in that specific thing. So a small summarization, why should you study at Radboud University? As I said, we belong to the top 1% worldwide ranking. We were voted best traditional university already 8 times in the Netherlands. As I said, we have a wide range of study options, 14 English Thought Bachelor's programs and 35 English Thought Master's programs with several specializations. When you graduate here, your diploma is going to be internationally recognized, and you'll be able to work all over the world, and you have good career prospects. We have excellent services and facilities with study rooms, libraries in every faculty, the sports center on campus, and of course a personal approach to teaching, something I already explained. A green campus in the heart of the city, a #1 university sports center in the world, and I would say relatively low tuition fees and living costs if you compare it to other universities. So now I think we will answer the questions in the Q&A. I'm just going to open it. So I see a question. Are we required to have Dutch proficiency or English proficiency to get in? So if you're applying for one of the English Thought programs, I would say you don't need Dutch. You would just need a sufficient level of English, right? Yeah. Are there any special requirements for student visas for the Netherlands? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, for me, I had to do a bit of financial proof. That
we need to prove by a bank statement that we have the money to support ourselves for the first year here. So it's based on the amount the government says we're gonna spend for a month. It's about 1,000 euros.
10,000.
Yeah, for the whole year.
For the whole year.
Yeah, we need to prove that we have 10,000 euros in a bank under our name to pay for our living costs and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the financial proof is the only thing specific for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that was the answer you were looking for.
I think it's applicable for all overseas study. So if you consider going abroad to study any country,
they're gonna ask you.
In
in other countries like Germany, they ask you to transfer this amount to them, to a bank account in Germany. In the Netherlands, you just need to prove that you have this money in your country.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually easier compared to other countries.
Okay, so it's easier. Yeah. That's good. Is the campus and city navigable by bike?
Yes,
absolutely.
very much.
Yeah.
It's the Netherlands. You can go everywhere with bicycles.
Yeah, I also would say that the path where you ride your bikes are pretty good in the Netherlands. I basically haven't seen it anywhere outside the Netherlands that it's like this.
Yeah.
Every street you have a path just for bikes.
Yeah. So
Almost
it's
every
safe.
street.
Quite safe.
Yeah, and I
Safe.
think at the moment during the orientation week, there will be some bike lessons for those who want to take them. So you will learn a bit about the rules in traffic, and you will learn how to ride a bike. And I think after that, you will be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Next question is, what does traditional university mean? A traditional university is a university that covers all classic research subjects. So we don't specialize in something. No, we have like a broad range of traditional research areas, such as we have programs within business, arts, science, philosophy, law, social sciences, and medicine. So I hope this answers your question. Then there's this question, what score in English proficiency do we need? Yeah, this really depends on program. There's a slight difference in between bachelor's programs and master's programs, but also in between bachelor's and master's programs, there are some slight differences. So if you have a specific program you're interested in, I would highly recommend you to just check the admissions page of that program, because there you will find the scores that you need. So a next question, do you have more information about the Holland Scholarship? Yeah, well, as I already said, it's not a tuition fee waiver, and it's for specific nationalities. So I know it's for Colombian students, I think Taiwanese students, but also several other nationalities. And for Colombian students, we actually have 3 scholarships available per year. And when you get the scholarship, you will receive 5,000 euros. And yeah, the application is done in Osiris when you apply for the program. So you will do it at the same time. If you want to do that, you have to make sure that you're non-European, because we only give the scholarships to non-European students. But you can also find more information about it and read through it in a more quiet time at our website. Yeah, we have a specific scholarships page. If you Google Radboud University scholarships, you will find it for sure. So someone is asking, did you guys take the TOEFL or IELTS test?
I took IELTS.
Yeah, I took TOEFL. I did some research on both, and to be honest, I thought the TOEFL was easier because it's more general. It doesn't cover specific knowledge or specific topics. So yeah, that's why I chose TOEFL.
And you?
I found IELTS easier because for TOEFL IBT, especially the speaking part, I had to speak to a computer. And then a lot of people around me would be speaking to the computer at the same time, which was very distracting for me. Yeah, I did try it once, but then I found IELTS much easier.
Yeah, so in a conclusion, I think you should maybe do a little bit of research yourself.
Yeah, and see
then
what's what's better for you. Like for me, it's better to talk to a computer than to someone looking at me. So
yeah, so it depends on your personal personal opinion, I think. Yeah. Okay, I hope this really answers your question a little bit. And then there's another question. Is it possible to make exchanges with other universities in Europe? I would say that it is. However, I think it's more common to do that in your bachelor's program than in your master's. Yeah. I don't know, are there any possibilities in your master's to do an exchange program abroad?
Yeah, I'm not sure about like the courses, the classes you have to take, but I think that we can do the thesis in another country, in other places, but not about the courses. I'm not sure.
Well, for bachelor, definitely yes. For master, it's more about internship.
Yeah.
So you can choose to do internship in other countries.
Yeah, I know for some specific programs in the master's it's possible. I'm not sure if that's possible for every master's. Yeah, as I said, it is more common to do that in your bachelor's. But we certainly have a lot of partner universities in Europe or in other parts of the world. So if you're interested, I would just, I'll ask your study advisor, to tell you a bit more about it. Okay, this was the last question, and I see Stavroula is back here again.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your presentation. I think you guys covered pretty much all of the questions that were asked pre-webinar. So, you know, if there is any more questions, they can always get in touch with you via the contact page that is up at the moment. I want to thank, obviously, you guys for the presentation and the attendees for participating and asking some questions towards the end. It's always helpful to all the students that are looking. And of course, please do visit Viva-Mundo if you are looking for other options, and subscribe to our newsletter there, and you'll find out a lot more about all of the institutions that we have and all the webinars that we have. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want everyone to thank everyone for the attention. And also if there are any questions, you can also always contact us or contact a current student through UniBuddy. You will find it on the specific program pages. So yeah, always welcome to contact us.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that will be the end of the webinar then. And we will see you all for the next one. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.